Hey guys, it's Adam here. No, this isn't the vlog. This is a video response for a YouTuber named Knoptop. Basically, I've been watching this guy on YouTube. He's got a lot of video editing tricks and tips that I kind of sort of liked, actually. And today's video he posted, he was asking the question, what format do you film in? Do you film in 30 frames per second, 24 frames per second, 60 frames per second? And I was like, wow, that's a good question. Because I kind of film in two of those formats. Now let me explain. When I'm filming with the Canon ELPH300HS, which is the camera I've been using since the Panasonic has went to the warranty work. Basically, this camera here shoots at 720p 30 frames per second. However, if I switch it into 1080p mode, she'll do 24 frames per second at 1080p, so 1920 by 1080. My old Panasonic shot at 1080p 24 frames per second as well. The new Panasonic shoots at 30 frames per second 1080p. So all depends on the camera I'm using, right? Because if I bust out, say, the GoPro, which has options to shoot at wide VGA, which I think is something like, I don't know what the heck it is. Wide VGA, it's standard definition wide. Or you can shoot at 720p 60 frames per second, 720p 30 frames per second, or 1080p 30 frames per second. I always have this thing set to 720p 60 frames per second because at 60 frames per second, if you're going to do a slow-mo and you're going to do it in post with your video editor, 60 frames per second, you can get a nice frame lag free 60 frame per second that looks a lot smoother than you could with 30, just because you're doubling your frame rate, right? Same applies for the Kodak ZX5 and all the other Kodak cameras have, whether it be the Play Sport, the Playful, the Play Touch. All of them are set to 60 frames per second 720p at all times, just because it makes doing a slow-mo shot that much cooler and looks that much nicer. Honestly, if the Canon could do 60 frames per second 720p, I'd have it set to that all the time, because you never know when that epic slow-mo shot might come in handy and you might need to use it. But for me, that's me doing daily vlogs, tech videos, you know, basic stuff. I don't really shoot any independent films, never have, not planning on it, but you never know. So that's my answer. I prefer to have a high frame rate camera just for my own personal use. So hopefully that answers your question, Knoptop. Also guys, if you're looking for any video editing ideas or tutorials or anything like that, this guy here, he's got a lot of tips and tricks for shooting videos and making things like getting different effects, color correction, stuff like that. Go check them out on the YouTubes. I'll put a link in the description. And if you like what you see, give them a subscribe and let them know VlogginLife sent you. Alright guys, until next time, you know what I'm gonna say. You know what I'm gonna say. Keep on vlogging.